Alrighty guys, g'day. Excuse me, sorry, just made it to my seat in time. I realized there's only a few seconds left in a countdown timer. How are we guys? Good morning, good afternoon. And as always, a very good evening from a very cold Melbourne at the moment. Yeah, winter's finally, well, it's upon us anyway here in Melbourne, so not all that much fun, to be honest. I don't really like cold weather, but gotta get used to it, don't I? So nonetheless, guys, hope you all had a good weekend. Welcome. As always, I will take a look at GJ, Gold, EU eventually, and NAS. In the meantime, guys, if you could, hit the like button, do say g'day, don't be shy. And we will get underway with the analysis, starting with GJ. So first of all, guys, I hope you all had a look at the analysis sent into the Discord over the weekend, the weekend update video. Kind of played out on GJ, tapped into a level which I did actually have marked in. This basically previous resistance as a potential first level that price can pull back to before we continue up. However, still not a great deal of volume or momentum. I do still feel that we could pull back a bit further before we head back up again. However, let's get underway with the analysis and see what we can come up with moving forward. Give me a second, guys. Let me fix a few things on my end. All right. So looking at GJ starting at the weekly candle and looking at that previous weekly candle, once again, that is a very strong bullish candle. So we could mark in a 50. I'm going to bother with it for the time being. We're just going to see what we've got in the 4-hour levels as far as potential levels that price could pull back to before we do head up back to the upside. What we can see is the current daily though / weekly has already broken the high of the previous, so we have a higher low, higher high. Once again, if we were to continue bullish, then we really have no need to pull back and break our own low. The support formed at the current daily candle's low. If we do so, then at that point there's probably a high probability we will make a deeper pullback. And not necessarily doesn't mean we're going to trend bearish, but just make a deeper pullback within the current weekly candle to grab that liquidity before we possibly are ready to form support and head back up. So strong bullish on the weekly time frame. Looking at it on the daily time frame, and that is also a bullish in structure. We can see we're at that previous level of resistance from that wild Monday a few weeks back during that bank holiday on in Japan, when DJ and I think it's UJ also hit record levels that had not been at for God knows 30 odd years. So right now we can see there's that high low high high. Structurally we are bullish as well. So at that resistance, of which is a massive wick. However, once we go down to the 30-minute in particular, we can see it's quite clean traffic. So onto the 4-hour now, and that also is technically bullish, guys. We have just recently formed resistance not that long ago. Current candle has a lower high, has by the looks of it just broken low of the previous candle. Doesn't mean that to me is not yet a catalyst. Reason being is because first of all, it's just we haven't really made that pullback to create a low loading point. Not only that, we have not yet, again, as I said, the daily high low high high, we've not yet broken the daily candle's low, nor have we flipped structure at all on the 30-minute time frame as well. So I don't quite yet have any catalyst to anticipate that this is the high. I need to see a bit more data to print in order for me to trust that we may make a deeper pullback. Once again, could be just short-lived before we form a support to head back up moving forward into the week. But what would give me more confidence to start looking for the sells would be come tomorrow, once we've had a strong daily candle closing back bearish. So technically in the 4-hour we are bullish at this resistance. I'm just going to mark in the swing point within the current daily candle's high, marking the highs there. As for support, now on the update video in the weekend, I marked in pretty much this whole level. I'm going to mark in a few levels here. I'm going to mark in most recent support, and I'm going to mark in another level probably a little bit higher up once we go down to the M30 time frame. So a potential level that price could pull back to within the current weekly candle is, for me at this stage, probably around that 197.30, 197.10 roughly, or we could potentially form a support and begin head back up. So the M30 structure, that is also technically bullish. Now, one good thing from this, the current daily candles open, we did create a swing. So we've got consecutive candles at the current daily candles low, pulling back in the opposite direction to the impulse, to the upside. So now we can start to see where we may begin to have a catalyst to look for a potential counter trend sell. And that might be once we begin to close below, technically it's below 197.475. I would say as long as we begin to pop like 197.560 sort of level, we're going to be creating a lower low at that point there as well. We've so far pulled back to create a lower high within the current daily candle. If we break that 197.560 and close below it, I would start to feel that at that point there that we could make a deeper pullback. The issue is we're running straight into a previous resistance here to the left, which lines up with another level over to the left hand side when we are to zoom out. So for me at the moment, I need to see a lot more to look for potential sellers. So as far as the buy options, well, we're currently rejecting. So I want to see how price reacts to around the support formed at the current daily candles low, around the open there today. So if we do pull back to 197.60, only to pop above it, remain above it, I'm going to be looking for my catalyst to look for a potential buy and take it back up towards the highs. So for me, the buys from that support are definitely going to be something I will be considering. Now, further buys, obviously above the current daily's high, seeing we have now pulled back within the current daily candle. If we do form a support and approach the highs with a bit of volume, come a high, well, if it is into London Open or maybe even NY, I would look for the closure above 198.060, and at that point there, likely to look for entries as we begin to break above the current daily candles high. So I want to see a closure above that resistance, and that will be the catalyst. So remember, candle that forms resistance is the bearish candle, not the bullish candle. So I want to see a closure above that bearish candle, which is just a little bit lower down to the current daily candle high. And if we get that sort of catalyst, I might look for an impulse entry as price begins to break above the current daily candles high upon continuation. Now, that is pretty much GJ for the time being. Once again, I'm not going to hurry into counter trend sells right now, guys, because it is still very early. We are in a big uptrend. I'm going to need to rely on more data to print. If we do maybe come up towards the current daily candles high and reject, then maybe I might just trade the range and look for a sell upon rejection. But otherwise, at this stage, I am just going to patiently wait and wait for the right option, and that might not be until tomorrow if I was to look for a sell on GJ. So that is the analysis on GJ, guys. Now, we'll take a look at gold. In the meantime, if you could hit the like button, there's only a few on stream. Mondays are always a bit disappointing. So that was a chart sent in to the members group on Sunday with a video update as well. So I can remove that now. And what I did mention, if gold is doing what it's doing now, where it just pops straight up, that's fine. Don't necessarily need to create a low wick. We're just going to look to see where if we pull back, where we should respect if we were to continue bullish and head back up. So that's essentially what we're going to be doing today. So looking at it again from start the top down analysis, the weekly has no lower wick. Once again, you guys know how I feel about that. Has no need to, again, it pull back to create a lower wick as long as we respect support, like I just mentioned, create it on the move to the upside. So on any pullback. Onto the daily, bullish as well. Now at all-time highs, we've just smashed through all-time highs yet again. Not sure what's going on, if there was some news about, I haven't checked that to be honest, but gold is just on its merry way to the upside. Looking at the 4-hour, and that is also, it's bullish across the board. So now what I'm going to look for is potential levels that price could pull back to retest. So I'm just going to mark in with the horizontal for the time being, a high off the previous all-time high, which was set back in April, around at 24.3155 to be exact. So we've just broken above that, and we are continuing to the upside, create a low wick on a new 4-hour and bounce off that level. As far as support, I've got nothing to mark in because we're so far away from anything. So it's down to the M30. All right, so perfect. As we can see, this horizontal marked in, which lines up with the resistance here to the left hand side, the previous all-time high that we've just broken. Lines up with a support formed on the uptick. So what we have done within the current daily candle, we've shot straight to the upside from this point here. That was the open. We've since created support at that 24.3155. Now, once again, if we were to continue bullish, if we were to pull back to that level, we should not really need to close below it. We should respect that level, bounce off it, and we could look for potential buy options to take it back up towards the current daily candles high. So buys above that level there, the previous resistance, which lines up with the support here on the way up. And now if we begin to pull back, maybe bounce off, create a lower high, and start popping below that support form within the current daily candle, then there's a high probability at that point there we're going to come back down towards the current daily / weekly candles low and potentially create that lower wick. So for me, that's the only level at this stage I'd be looking for potential sells. Any other sell, in my opinion, is reckless, because this is into all-time high territory and it can continue to the upside. As much as you think it's oversold, it's overbought, it doesn't necessarily have to pull back at all. It could continue up. It's into fresh air to the upside. So I'm just going to simply wait for strong catalyst if I was to sell it. Once again, either below that 24.28, the most recent swing point, most recent support formed on the leg up, or if nothing else, I have to wait for see what we've got tomorrow, and who knows. But it's unlikely at this stage that we're going to close today's candle bearish one, and I feel there's a high probability we may not even create that lower wick within the current daily candle, and who knows moving forward into the week. So very simple on gold. I'm not going to buy it above the high. I wasn't even interested at all in taking that entry, nor was I really on the chart. Just sat down in my chair. And yeah, so just waiting for gold to pull back just now. So the focus likely going to be a GJ. Just got to let gold do its thing, no FOMO. So that's gold and GJ, guys. In the meantime, got 1,150 subs and only 17 on the stream. It's a bit disappointing. You guys rock. I'm not sure about what the rest are up to this morning. Alright, so let me take a look at GU. I just sent some analysis of GU into the members group again. And guys, I'm sure you're all already joined, but if you have not, it's for free. Link is down below for the free Discord members group. I've been dropping a lot of education and market update videos into that group, so it's definitely worthwhile. And there's also great community, people, you know, chatting away, sending in charts, analysis, trades, so which is good to see. All right, so looking at GU on the weekly time frame, and previous weekly candle was a very strong bullish candle, still at that level of resistance, which is, once we get down to the more so the 4 hour, but the daily as well, we can see it's a pretty strong level, and we actually haven't broken the high of that previous weekly candle. I'm gonna mark in the high of that candle. I'm gonna mark it in the low of the current daily candle. What I might also do is just to see where we line up, use the fib and just see where we are. Draw in the 50% yet again, just see what that lines up with. Didn't even do it on gold. That's another thing we could have done. Maybe we'll have a look at it shortly. So remember, that level is a level if we do pull back, I want to see the buyers protect that level. So even if we pop below it, I want us to see it. I want the buyers to pop back in, respect that level, and we begin to remain above that 126, 110 roughly. At that point, that could be potentially the low for the week before we head back up in line with the previous weekly candle. So looking at the daily, that previous daily is quite a strong catalyst to suggest that we could continue to the upside. It's closed above the bodies of the candles to the left, right up at the high of that resistance. So based off the daily time frame, I mean, a breakout impulse entry would tick the box, but once we go down to the 30-minute, we'll be able to see that there is absolutely no volume, no momentum. So impulse entries at this point are going to be difficult, in my opinion. If you were to look for a buy on the break of that previous daily candle's high, then you probably need to have your stop loss below that previous daily candle's low. and probably target the resistance here at 127.865, and that will give you still a good return. It's just like an intraday slash mini swing trade type of entry. So bullish, bearish on the daily, sorry, still technically bearish as long as we remain below that bearish candle wick. So we're not far off flipping it bullish, but technically we do remain bearish. It's the only time frame that will be bearish at the moment on GU. 4 hours also bullish, which just created a higher high as well. So as we can see, we're right hard up against that resistance here to the left. I'm just going to mark it in the current level. With support, I'll mark in the lows, and I'll see what I've got once we get down to the 30-minute as well. So above the resistance, which is current day's high, let me just see what we got over here. I think there's a wick on over here. Let me see. All right, so I might use that. I might just drag this up to, it's not coming through the bodies of the candle so much. I have to probably draw in a few levels here on GU. All right. Now, current daily candle is low. So that looks to be a good level to look for sells. Reason being is I will be rejecting that 4 hour resistance. We'll be popping below the previous resistance here to the left as well. Leading traffic to the left. So, I mean, just by looking at that, also rejecting the daily resistance as well. So for sure, I'd be looking for sells below 126.939. At that point there, what we may do is make a deeper pullback into the previous weekly candle. And come down further. I'm not sure if we will head back down to the 50. That is well far away at the moment. I'm just going to remove that. So sells below that 126.930. Now, as for the buys, so options for me on the buys would be if price pops back down to the support formed at the open of the current daily candle, I would look for buys to take it back up. If we were to continue bullish, you should respect that level and head back up towards the current daily high. Now, further buy options as well would be above the high. However, seeing there is absolutely no volume, no momentum at the moment, I'd rather wait for a nice strong catalyst closure above, or if it just takes off, let it create the move up, pull back, form a support above previous resistance, look for my calves within price action and buy it. At that point there, at least you would be trending a bit, creating that high or low, and then look for the buys. So buys above the resistance, however, once again, I want it to be a really strong closure above it. Otherwise, just let it create the move up and then look for your potential buys on a pullback later on. No sells at the moment in this current level. Plus, it's very early into the week. Previous weekly was a very strong bullish candle. I'd rather wait for, once again, perhaps strong closures below that 126.930 or a daily candle closing back bearish to give me more confidence. Today's GU. Now I want to have a look at NAS. So NAS, I'm just going to use the markup that I've sent into the group. So the weekly's got another wick. Very little volume just yet, but we are at all-time highs on the Nasdaq at the moment. So again, be very cautious trying to sell against an all-time, well, against a index in this case, which is at all-time highs in a massive uptrend. 4 hours also in a big uptrend. However, it has created a low, potentially, well, you could argue a lower high almost. It could confirm that potentially today. We do form another resistance at the current level, but still it is in a massive uptrend. Let's bring these drawings back up onto the 30 minutes. So for me on NAS, it's just right in the middle of this 4 hour range. So what I'd rather see it do is either come up to the resistance to reject it yet again, rejecting that 4 hour high, rejecting that previous weekly high. And if that is to be the case, I would look for my sells from higher up. And if we do pop down to the support around that 1850, I would look for my buy options. That's what I'd be doing right now. Now, so I will not be doing anything in between until perhaps New York session when we've got a bit more volume to come. But right now, there is absolutely no volume, no momentum. I would stay well away from this at the moment. So that is NAS. That's the update, guys, on all 4 There's indices, whatever you like to call them, commodities, all the 4 instruments that I do trade, or look at, sorry. Only trade 2 of them. And as I mentioned, the focus right now will be on GJ because gold is just honest, it's doing its own thing. Oh, what did I just do? Uh-oh. Oh. Shambles, Zana, guys. Just show must go on though. Let's only get better from here. All right, 17 on the stream. I appreciate you guys. I'm not sure what's going on for the rest. Should have sent a link into the members group. I forgot to do so. All right, Saxy, good morning to you. Doc, good morning to you. Franco, good morning, brother. Steve, good morning to you. Archer, good morning, brother. Diliver, very nice reporting. Thank you. Carl F, good morning to you. Carl just jumped on. Not much happening at the moment, it seems. No, it's zilch. Absolutely nothing at all. Gold's just doing its thing. I'm not chasing it right now. And it just need to wait for gold to pull back, and GJ is right in the middle of this range, so just need to wait for it to preferably come down to the support to look for buys and see what happens below it. But I'm not just jumping into sells because based on that previous weekly, such a strong bullish candle, still could just pull back a little bit to create a higher low, but below that support and then head back up. So I mean, below support, we've got plenty of consolidation / support to the left as well. Would definitely pull up at that level before it heads back up again. Not a bad catalyst here, but there's just no volume and there is no margin. Yeah, once you account for spread, you'll have like maybe around 9 pips. But what I do see is the fact that we've got what looks to be a 30-minute candle closing back a hammer candle up near its high, long wick to downside, bouncing off this level here to the left. Within it, if that was to be the case and it closed right near its high, 15 is going to close a bullish engulfing candle. So that's a pretty strong catalyst normally for me to buy it, but I would prefer for it to happen a bit lower down. Plus, I just don't trust the volume right now, to be honest. If that was to be the case, it would have to close up right near its high, engulf on the 15, and then technically it's a valid signal within price action. Yeah, so again, nice signal, just there is no margin at all. Where's candles popping up? So otherwise it's a really nice catalyst, guys. It's pretty broken. That would be your target. I'm not in it. Very early doors. I like to let the market play it, feel out a bit, play itself out a bit in the first trading day. Look at that. Absolutely perfect. Also today, guys, got to consider that it is an EU holiday, bank holiday across the board over in the Euro sector, so Eurozone. So usually there's a fair bit of influx of volume at this time of day. Not sure if there will be today. You know what really gets me? I can't work out how the hell they do it. But half these streams which have no one speaking or nothing, it's just a few text boxes on the screen, have like 3 to 800, some have like 800 views right now watching. Go figure. I have no idea how they get so many viewers. And here's me talking through everything, giving out free education. Just a little frustrating sometimes, guys, but never mind, we're all good. Welcome on to you, my friend. By the way, guys, just out of matter of interest, have you guys had a watch of the recap video from the weekend? That was a really good one. That was about trade management, a lesson in trade management. I covered the loss taken on gold from last Tuesday, I think it was. So I definitely recommend having a watch of it. There is a lot to be learnt from that video. I will post the link to it in the chat just now, so just save it onto another screen so we can have a watch of it later. But it's definitely well worth having a watch of for sure, as far as how to keep your losses small. Sexy, trust the process streams will grow over time. It's just like Forex. Well, that's true. And the actual well, the sub count that's going through the roof, which is unbelievable. Really happy with that. I left a lot of people just want easy life being told by, yeah, I know, and that's the thing. And some a lot of those channels actually, that's all I have in a buy or whatever, in a sell signal, buy signal, with no face behind it or nothing. Zolt, how are you, brother? Just put some fantasy. Yeah, I know. Had to watch and listen to that documentary you sent me the link to twice. Man, oh man. What's a thing, to be honest, but yeah, I'm not sure what to do when it comes to investments, put it this way. still think like hard physical tangible investments are probably the way to go, as far as I'm talking about gold and silver more so than anything. I think that's probably the safest asset you can have right now. If that actual if that what's it called, that documentary, I think there is quite a lot of there's a lot of value in it. I think I believe what the guy was saying as well. Man, Vic, you're planning a very low risk short on what, on gold? Yeah, I'm not planning nothing. There's nothing right now. Archer, people, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. That's all I do. Like stream, see who's looking for take a trade or whatever. So big trouble ahead on that front. Oh, I know. Is it good gold and silver? Definitely. I think it's the safest asset you can have, in all honesty. I was actually going to pop a link to it. I was going to ask you if you, I'm sure you don't mind, I was going to pop a link to that that documentary you sent me into the Discord for the guys to have a watch and see what they think of it. It's the type of thing you have to watch a few times just to sort of get the gist of it. I was actually having listened to it while I was driving today. I was watching it last night too, but I was sort of distracted. Left. Yeah, I'll post it into the Discord group. I'm not going to post it on YouTube because I'll probably get banned. It's definitely a very interesting watch or listen. Yep, result. Please share away. Definitely. Absolutely crazy what the guy talks about, and I mean, he's been in amongst it all to know what actually is going on, so it's quite frightening actually. But equities and that aren't quite what you think they are, or owned by who you think they are owned by, or all that stuff. It's just to have a watch of it. It is absolutely nuts. So it's basically saying that be prepared because the ship is about to sink. So actually, how would we even trade all-time highs, especially volatile pairs like gold? For me, the trend, again, the trend's your friend until the end, so still bucks the trend, you just got to trade it with it. As far as buying above the highs, well, look, had this been around the open, I would consider it for sure, 100%, but prior to that move, this most recent move, that previous candle, there wasn't much volume. That's not a bad catalyst, but it's also, if again, it's probably an hour before I would have anticipated that we may make that type of move. Again, what you anticipate and what actually happens doesn't always have to, you know, be the same thing, but I would just say trade it with the trend. Look for some structure to form, which we have here, and look for that type of scenario, but to happen when it comes to your trading time. So until that breaks, like I said, and for me, not flipping structure or anything below support, but it's creating a lower low. So that would be my first catalyst to suggest maybe we're going to make a deeper pullback. But otherwise, I just continue to trade with the trend. That means upon pullbacks to support, or as it gathers some more steam and begins to break above the high. That is pretty much the only way you can trade it. Can't anticipate the top because no one knows. This thing can rip to the upside. Why is EU going up and the other majors are trying to pull back a bit? Say it, because I'll go stuck in a EU sell. All right, GJ. See, rejecting. In all honesty, I reckon I'm gonna watch or listen. I'll just listen to it in the car, probably at least 5 times. I mean, half of what the guy says just goes in one ear and out the other. He's just such an intelligent guy. But still, it makes a lot of sense. And I mean, the main points of it all is very clear cut. I think I also just sort of doubles down on proof that, you know, the governments around the world are trying to cut out cash as well, completely cut it out. I don't think it's really by choice, to be honest. I just don't think they have any control over it from what the directive is. So leading to CBDCs and that, which, again, from what this guy says, it's just frightening. Absolutely frightening. I pay with cash everything. I refuse to use my card. What people don't realize, when you're paying with card, you're paying such stupid fees as well every time. The banks are laughing all the way to the bank, you know, for the lack of a better term. But they make a fortune from all this tapping, pay and go, all that crap. So I'm definitely one that, you know, in favor of old hard cash. And I don't trust the banks as well, not one bit. I was charged this fee from my local bank. Wasn't even aware of for the best part of a decade as a class action against them. Because it turns out a lot of the customers weren't even aware they were paying this fee. So they screw you as much as they can, the banks. Man, Vic, USD CAD shorts are interesting. Can you have a look? I can definitely have a look. But nonetheless, the whole banking system isn't what you guys probably thought it was, to be honest. Have a watch of that documentary. Alright, so the weekly is a strong bearish candle. And back to what I do best, charts analysis. So based off that, in the current weekly, it hasn't got much of an upper week. Tapping into this previous resistance here to the left hand side, so it is a level that price potentially could pull back at. However, if we begin to break below that previous weekly candle, was back below that resistance and we're likely heading down towards that 135, 350 sort of level. So strong bearish on a weekly. I'd be looking to see potentially where we could pull back to within the previous weekly candle. You're marking from high to low, low to high. You've got that level at the 50% where price could potentially pull back to 136, let's call it 136.40. And if it does reject, likely to head back down in line with the previous weekly candle. All right, so daily, structure wise, it is bullish, but we are creating lower lows, lower highs. So we're approaching another support formed on the swing low. Below it, we've got a little bit of margin to the downside, not a great deal. So technically bullish, bullish, yes, bullish with bearish counter probabilities. Current daily is broken a low off the previous daily, but is at a support, which lines up with previous resistance to the left-hand side as well. Onto the 4 hour. That appears to be bearish. We got the daily as bullish. We've got the weekly as bearish. We've got the 4 hour as bearish. And marking that resistance, which lines up to 50%. So perfect. We can see it's a strong level that price should respect if we were to continue bearish. As for support, I'll just adjust that once I go down to lower time frames, and I'll mark in another level a little bit lower down. So we're bearish enough. The 4 hour, the M30 structure. A bit of a tricky one. But if you got it, technically speaking, it's bullish at support. So the bias is neutral. It's a bit of a tricky one. So right now, all I'd be doing is trading it range bound. Seeing we are at support and bouncing off it. The issue is it is very choppy to the left-hand side. So as far as buying it from the current level, you buy it into, once you break one resistance, you buy straight into another resistance. Break that one, you're running into another one a little bit higher up. So when I see this sort of choppiness to the left hand side, what I prefer for price to do is create a nice clean move up through a lot of that crap, then pull back, a nice pullback, create a high low. Then I potentially can start trading that the current range if that was to be the case. Otherwise, I'd be looking for price to start to close below support formed at the previous weekly candles low. We do so, we've got clean candle to the left. We're likely to make another move to the downside, so I'd be looking for sells below that level there. Sells from, once again, from that resistance, which is 50% of that previous weekly candle. If we were to continue bullish, bearish, so we should respect that level on the pullback and begin to break above it. Likely to get options up to 136.50. However, there's not going to really be enough margin above that resistance. So it's similar to the buys from lower down. Let it create a clean move up, cut through the resistance to the left, pull back, create a high low, form support, and then potentially buy it. But right now, I don't think it's really showing me anything or a strong enough catalyst at all. I know we're at support, respecting support, but to me, you're just running into resistance. So I'd be waiting, maybe wait for a 4 hour. If you can get a bullish engulfing 4 hour, you could almost trade it based off that in itself, because the stop loss is not going to be that big, because it's a pair that doesn't have as great a deal of volume, or move with this greater deal of volume. It is a major, so it does have a lot of liquidity. So to be honest, that's what I'd probably be doing. I'd trade up the 4 hour right now. So if it respects this support, you close engulfing, stop loss below the low of the swing, and he enters the new candle, breaks the high of this candle. That's how I'd play it, in all honesty. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully it'll make you some dollars as well. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Salt digital ID builder just passed. Yeah, that's an absolute joke. Soon they're gonna put chips in our bloody, under our skin, in our arms. And that's how everything, all our finances are gonna be into that one chip. Everything's just gonna be done through that. I'll have total control of everything we do. It's really frightening what they can do and what they're planning. And a lot of people say it's a conspiracy theory, but the thing is, It's, I mean, how many coincidences can you have with COVID and all that stuff? It's just, the more shit you hear about all this shit, a lot of shit there, the more it starts to make sense. RS, good morning to you. Man, Vic, I feel like this weekly count I'm gonna tank down. I don't know why I'm getting this feeling. Yep, but once again, I understand that. But don't trade what you think and what you feel. Trade what you see. So react to the charts, react to the data that prints in front of you. That's all we can do as traders, especially if we're, you know, just in and out of the market scalping. Just have a plan and just simply wait for it to play out. If it does, fantastic. If not, you reassess. Don't force anything in between. And you come back the next session, next day. Gold pulling back. These are massive moves. I just realized that's like a $10 candle. That's a 100 pip candle just there, and we've pretty much retraced the whole way down. Well, pretty much all of it, just bouncing a bit now, but favor, I just went over it like 5 minutes ago, not even. So just go backwards about 5 minutes into the stream, and you'll have full rundown of USD CAD. It's at a strong level of support right now, but like what I suggested was I'd be trading off the 4 hour. I'd wait for the current 4 hour to close, and if it closed bullish engulfing, I'd be looking to buy it on the next 4 hour candle with stop loss below the swing point. What's my analysis on GU? So GU, I went over that as well at the start of the stream. So GU is at resistance right now. If we were to continue bullish, we should respect the daily candles open, the support formed at that level. Seeing we are at the 4 hour level of resistance, if we reject yet again and pop below that support, we've got clean traffic to the left, breaking a current daily candles low as well, which has a higher low, well, it doesn't have a high, but is rejecting that resistance. So if it breaks its own low yet again, break that support, then I feel there's a high probability it will come down further to make a deeper pullback. Now, once again, that weekly closed a very strong bullish candle, so it doesn't mean it's just necessarily going to tank all the way back down to 126.50. What it could do is just pull back to previous levels of resistance to form support. We've got that level there, 126.850. There's also another level just a little bit below at 126.80 roughly. And price may just pop back down to those levels, form a support, and buy it. You could potentially look for your buy option, and that could potentially be the low of the weekly candle. So once again, for the sells, I'd prefer to see probably even a 4 hour candle closing back strong bearish below that resistance, below this support. Flip the 30-minute structure bearish. It's not going to do that. Take that back because that won't happen until these lows. Yeah, I'd just be waiting. And I think I mentioned to you last Friday or Thursday what is my analysis. I wouldn't bother with it. AN, AUD, NZD. Just use it as a strength indicator as to which, if you want to trade one against the US dollar, look to see which one's stronger or weak or whatever, and trade it in that direction against the US dollar or whatever. They're both coming down. Well, actually, they won't both be coming down against one another, but I just don't think it's a good pair to scalp, in all honesty. I don't think it's a good pair to trade, in all honesty. They're too highly correlated. And I argue that I don't know why it's not the same currency. Australian dollar and NZ dollar should be the same currency. mean, even their coins look the exact same as ours, just opposite way around. Their $1 coin is smaller than ours, and their $2 coin is bigger than ours, but otherwise they look the exact same. Pretty much, anyway. Yeah, so I'm not going to look at AN. I'm sorry, my friends. It's just not worth it. How many years been training? Since 2017. So over 7 years now. And what strategy? Basically, I'm just using my catalyst swing price action to look for my trades at levels on a chart. I mean, if I was to tell you the whole thing, it would take me a full stream or more than that. But I just mark up my charts. I know whereabouts I want to get involved in a trade. And I just wait for price to get to those levels, and I look for my catalyst swing price action. And that's just, you know, in a nutshell. There's a lot more to it than that, though. There's a hell of a lot more to it. Tell us more stories about trading psychology. What would you like to know? The best advice I can probably give is you just got to have a plan and have rules and stick to it. Trust it. Make sure that it works for you. Edge over, you know, test it out over a certain data set of trades. I'd say at least 2-3 months minimum. And then learn to trade based off the rules and your plan, and avoid emotions that come into it. For me, I don't get FOMO at all. I don't trade what I think. I trade purely what I see on the chart. I do my analysis. I know exactly where I want to get involved. And I know what sort of catalyst I'm to look for at those levels. And then it's simple as creating a rule. Once price gets to that level and we start, you know, candles start forming at that level, for instance on gold, I create the rule, and if it ticks the box in accordance to the rule, I execute. As simple as that. And that just takes out all the emotion in my trading, completely takes it all out. And if it goes without me in the direction I was looking to get involved in a trade, that's fine. If it didn't tick the box in accordance to the rules, I just have to wait. Because the rules are there to protect me. I know from my trading that those rules are what really have made me the trader I am today, become a consistent, competent trader. Thought? Yeah, I think so. Alright, so 30 minutes now until London Open, and there is absolutely nothing going on. Just wait patiently. See, for me, trading psychology is no longer an issue. It took a while. I'm not gonna lie, it did take a while. It took about, you know, best part of 3 years. But once I just realized I had to follow my plan and my analysis and my rules, because that worked. And if I stopped doing the stupid shit, which I used to do, which was detrimental to my own trading, my own account, I'm likely going to be a confident trader and a profitable trader. So it's as simple as that. I had enough of my own bullshit. I had enough of doing really stupid shit like that. Like I told you at the time, I was chasing 10% for the week on the last day when I only had 1.5 left. I was already 8.5% up for the week, only to blow the whole profit and end the week in a drawdown on one day. That was the straw that, to me, that was enough. Frank, from your experience, how significant or not have you found the cycle levels? Yeah, look, I think they are, but it's subjective because I know some would use the quarter levels as the psychological numbers. I know we often refer to 20, 80, and 50 levels, or 20, 50, 80, and round whole numbers. So, I mean, it is a level that you often see price form support or resistance at, though one of those levels. But it wouldn't let me put, like, I wouldn't put, say it again, I wouldn't be put off taking a trade. Let's just say if we're trading into the 80 level and I had the most perfect catalyst win price action and buy it, that wouldn't put me off. Or the round number, I'd be weary of it, but I can perhaps manage it off if it does bounce off it. But I'm trading on pure price action at the levels I want to get involved in the trade. If I get my signal, my catalyst, I will still take the entry. So for instance, GJ now, it's trying to remain above that 80 level. Nice strong closure on gold. It's nowhere near a signal for me to sell it just yet. We're right back at support. So it could be a level that we could form a support at to look to buy from, which is good. But by no means does it mean we're ready to sell, in my opinion, anyway. US oil. That resistance on the daily, structure's bearish. Or as bullish, but it's at resistance. Yeah, right now it's at a strong resistance. It needs to break above it, close above it for continuation buys. Weekly is, yeah, probably would have preferred it to make more of a lower week. But as long as it closes above it, see now it looks like it is exhausting at that level to the left, so it could potentially pull back to create a low or a high low. But once again, I wouldn't just sell it. It is in a pretty strong uptrend. I want to see a bit more, but this looks a bit better for the sellers as opposed to gold and GU and whatever. So what I probably want to see to start to look for sellers, if price maybe tapped into that resistance, bounced off it, formed another minor support that level, and we start to close below it, that could be a first potential sell entry. Take it back down upon rejection of the 4-hour resistance. Or bearish engulfing candle just now would also be a catalyst. Otherwise, I'd just be waiting for it to pull back to support and see how it reacts to it. It's around at 79.55 and potentially buy it from there. Wouldn't necessarily sell it below there because it's not the cleanest. Probably might have been at the 15. Bit choppy. And you can potentially buy it from lower down, 79.32. That's a level, 79.30, 79.25. But a nice strong catalyst now would be a bearish engulfing candle. Frank, I have them on my charts and notice that mostly something happens either Stupid emoji things in a way. Either a stall or rejection or continuation pullback. Yeah, a lot of the time price does. It's sort of like a magnet for price. But yeah, so I think it's important to be wary of them. And often you'll find your entries are going to be around those sort of levels because of the fact that you'll have support, resistance that form a lot those sort of levels. But once again, it's a little subjective because I've had mentors who have said the quarter levels are the psychological levels, the quarter and 50 and half the 50 and the whole number. And obviously I've had some which have said 20, 50, 80 and the whole number. So I'm gonna do a giveaway this week, guys. I mean, I would have done it today had we had more on stream. I'll probably just do a course giveaway for now, but I do intend to do a funded account giveaway soon. Favor S&P 500. S and P. Well, if it were me, after watching that documentary, get out of it. Sell. It'd be similar to NASDAQ. Stocks are overpriced right now, so SP. Yeah, very similar to NASDAQ. I'll be looking for buys. People who trade gap fills are going to be looking for price to come back down to fill that gap before it heads back up again. It's very overextended. It's at record levels, but once again, you can only really trade a trend. You can't anticipate that's the top until you have confirmation. So when you have confirmation, well, when you start pulling back, you have daily candles closing bearish, you're starting to flip structure on higher time frames. That could be a confirmation. But I would not be touching it. Not this time of day anyway. GJ trying to come down. That's fine. All right, gold's tapped into the support that we've marked in, so that's also fine because this is now a level that I could look for my catalyst to form to potentially buy it. So that's what I will be doing. Doesn't mean I'll just buy it now. Although remember, guys, I've said let's keep an eye on this sort of situation when price pops down to a level and just see how it reacts to it, because would that be a potential limit order moving forward into the year or maybe next year? It's something that we need to keep an eye on. Right now, how far has this bounced? Good heaps of profit there. 30 pips already. So keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on when you've got price trending. For instance, the current daily price has been trending on gold. When price pulls back to a level of support form within the move to the upside within the current daily, keep an eye on what happens when we pull back to it. Does it just bounce off it quickly? Because if so, that could be potentially a new entry to add to the tool case later moving forward into the year. But you know, you got to probably test it out for a good 3+ months. But right now, that would have given you minimum 30 pip. Yeah, 30 pip move. I'm going to save it for myself. Keep it in a folder. So it is really reacting to this level of support right now. It's popping up and down. All right, so that would have been a W. Once again, just screenshot it, guys. This is how you develop as a trader. This is how you adapt to market conditions. Markets are always changing, so I'm always, you know, adopting new entries or trying to. Don't just jump into them. Obviously, I need to, you know, do my own due diligence and test them out for at least a good few months minimum. I've mentioned this one quite a few times on stream. What if we just set limit orders at a certain level? And that would have definitely done the job. So good to see. Yeah, I think you did just misunderstand. GJ, an absolute shit hot mess at the moment. Nothing going on. GJ, just need to wait patiently, guys. That's all we can do right now. Wait for a higher probability setup. Wait for a quality entry. We don't predict before we get the right confirmations. We react once we get our confirmation and trade, and that's plain and simple. That's what we do. Rule-based trading at its finest, at its easiest. Simply just stick to the rules. That's all you have to do. All right, so let's have a look. 15 closed back, strong, bearish. Now, what do you guys think would be a catalyst for me right now to buy it at London Open? Very obvious one. Anyone want to have a go? What would I want to see now in the next 15 minutes? And look at a 30 as well. Tapped into a support that I did think there would be a good chance the price could pull back to. Grab some more liquidity. Now what would be my catalyst? There's a few things I want to see. I'll give you another like 10 seconds or so, then I'll start answering it myself. Also respected this 15-minute support. We pretty much remained at it on the closure. All right, so now what I want to see moving forward into London session is if this 15-minute candle closes back, preferably engulfing, but as long as it closes back really above the body, the open of that bearish candle, what that's going to give us is a 30-minute candle closing like so. It will close, let's just say it closes just above. 30 minutes going to close like this. After tapping into that support, grabbing liquidity from the downside, it's back above the 15-minute previous resistance to the left-hand side as well. Over here. That would be a catalyst for me to look for a buy at London Open. So that is a rule I'm setting right now if I am to buy at London Open. And simple, that is how I trade, rule based. And that completely takes all emotion out of it. It's just, it ticks the box, yes, if not, no. And you're gonna say, oh, what's the chances? I don't know, it's not always, doesn't have to happen. But you'd be surprised the amount of times to say, this is what I want to see happen, and it happens. And then I enter, and you guys see for yourself, a lot of time it ends up in a pretty good result. So that's the rule I'm creating right now. I want this candle to close back bullish in the M30, preferably engulf the 15, but it doesn't necessarily have to, as long as it closes above body, which will close the candle back bullish. Very simple process. I know I'm not going to sell it at the open. I'm not selling it into this support, nor am I going to buy it if I don't have the confirmation of the candle closing back bullish. So that's exactly what I want to see. Takes all the FOMO out of it completely. And once again, all these rules is just what I've come up with over my time on the charts. Also in the last 3 to 4 years scalping, and what works for me. And I've covered pretty much everything as much as I would cover in the course that I put together as well. What is the logic? What do you mean? What is the logic? It's the logic behind it is it just works for me. It's based off trends, based off price being at levels. It's based off sticking to my rules and waiting for a catalyst to form, and that gives you a higher probability entry. That's it. I mean, what we can see in real life besides that, those candlesticks. Not sure I understand what you're talking about. Why am I trading? Is that what you're asking? Fundamental, sexy, possibly. So we're gonna wait 9.5 minutes, guys. Let's see. Trying to bounce back up. Have you done trading psychology? Again, I'm not too sure what you're asking. Some of these questions. Maybe if you reword them. Have I done trading psychology? I don't understand what you mean by that. I've been through every aspect of trading psychology that probably every trader goes through. I've felt it all. I've been through that moment where you feel like it's just never going to happen, you're ready to quit. And I've been through that moment where you're wetting buckets even if it's freezing cold because you're anxious because you're in drawdown and significant drawdown and you know you shouldn't be in the trade whatsoever. I've been through all that, and once again, it was just a matter of I knew and I understood what I was doing. I understood trading, I understood analysis, I understood what rules work for me. I just need to actually stick to those rules. And since that one particular day, which caused a lot of pain for me, caused a lot of anxiety, I lost sleep that for 2-3 days after it. Since that one particular day, I've not looked back. Occasionally, you will slip up and make a little error in judgment and miss a rule that would have saved you. I still occasionally do it. It happens. We're human. But it's unlikely to happen. It would be a rarity now. Leo, good to see you, brother. I hope you're well. Been a long time, but good to see you in the chat. Yeah, all is well. All is well, bro. All is really well. Just waiting on gold here. But how are you, brother? I hope you're well. Man, I think my sales going good, but not big profit, as it was very, very low risk. Yeah, I would only be going really low risk if I was in a gold sale right now. But well done, nonetheless. You did call it that you were in a sell, so yeah, I of that opinion as well. That could be just creating a higher low right now. Mr. Phil, good morning to you, my friend. Leo, all good. Didn't really got the time to swing by, but glad to be back. All good, my friend. I know you're quite busy with everything, so hope the studies all went well. And you can see, like, Favor, what I mean right now, he asked me, like, psychology and that question about psychology. I've created the rule for this trade right now for him to buy it at the open. And it just, there is no emotion attached to it now. It's either it's going to tick the box and give me my entry, or it's not. And I'm just not going to be involved. Simple as that. One thing I need to consider is stop loss. It's going to be really, really wide stop loss. Wow. So therefore, if I was to roll really wide stop loss, I'm going to go small risk, and I'm probably going to leave it open longer and just get to break even at like 10, but probably target about 30 or something. Manvic, I think next hour is going to make an insane bottom wick and then flip bullet. I could, yeah, it definitely could, as long as we remain above this 24-32 sort of level. Then I still think we're, you know, obviously it's bullish, but that we could really bounce off it and retest the highs, potentially create a higher high. Favor, I know that book, man. I've listened to the audio book a few times. I don't have a problem with understanding. I think you're the one who has a problem, my friend. I have no problem understanding trading cycle. I've just told you about 10 times. I create my rules, I stick to my rules, I stick to my plan. There is no emotion attached whatsoever. I don't know what you don't understand about that, my friend. So maybe you need to have a watch of it again. It's just, I deal with stupidity all weekend. I come to these streams and actually kind of hope that I'm gonna, you know, get away from that. But then you just get some questions, don't you guys? Sometimes it's hard to hold it back, honestly. Sometimes it's really hard to hold back. I think the majority have been here on the regular understand I have no problem when it comes to psychology and emotions. Absolutely not one issue at all. Nada, not one problem with it. Man, Vic, 24.37, 360. If it closes above, that's the why I'm interested in buys. 24.37. I'm trying to figure out, is it that? I'm not too sure. But once again, I mean, if that's your plan and you're sticking to it and you're going to patiently wait for it, I wish you all the best of luck. And I mean that, because that means you just train your plan. You're sticking to your rules. You're not influenced by someone else. So I understand not everyone's going to have the same analysis as me and the same rules, and that's fine. As long as you, I'm happy for all profitable, in all honesty. I think pros. Yeah, I think so. It's probably just bouncing from stream to stream. Carl left to the Hulk shirt. Oh mate, it's tempting, honestly. Sometimes you just feel like pulling the plug and right, let's just jump on a call with Discord guys. In all honesty, those Tuesday, well, it's evening my time, so NY streams on Tuesday and Wednesday are just so chilled. They're really good. And last Wednesday we caught some really good trades on that. So once again, free Discord group is open. Link is down below. If you want to get involved in this Tuesday and Wednesday's NY live call, what you need to do is click on the link below and join the Discord, and that's it. It's for free, so it should be a no-brainer. Man Vic, our last high-low. Yep. Our last high-low. Oh, okay, so you're talking about this sort of level. So in the next minute and 40 seconds, I need for it to really start to move. I'm to buy it at the open. DJ is just glued to that 80 level right now. Leo, through no single psychological problem since day one. Well, I don't know about our friend, but not sure about that, but as you get older, everyone's got psychological problems that pop into their life. Most of it's caused by things that are out of control, to be honest, out of our own control. But when it comes to trading, I have no wishes with that. So it does look like it could potentially add up, but by looks at the next 30 seconds, it also isn't going to close above the level I want it to close above. So to me, it'd be a little bit more impulsive to take the buy if it was to break above. There is only one other option I would consider buy at the open, and that would be if the open candle goes straight up, even just breaking high the previous bearish candle, or at least right at its high, then pulls back to create low wick. Then if it breaks again, that's where I consider just taking an impulse buy, because if we break the high of that bearish candle, we'd have no need to pull back to break it slow if we were to continue bullish. And if we did break it slow, having said that, we'd have no need to pull back up and break our own high again. And if we did end up doing so, we're likely to just grab some more liquidity before we head up. But either way, it's not valid now because it's popping down, so no entry. Just need to wait patiently. Leo? Oh, really? I had that problem last week and I fixed it. I'll do it now. I'll fix it now for... Alright. Should be alright now. Yeah, so I'm not buying, guys. You want to buy it based on 15? That's up to you. I can understand it. Probably have your stop loss below the previous candle's low. Just be careful as price taps into that bearish candle's open, because that is resistance on the 5 minute as well. BJ is just heavy consolidation. Manvic, you know, wait for a bottom wick against some buyers. Okay, well, you might be in already, so be looking good if that's the case. Sexy needs to regularly update Discord link in the description. Yeah, well, by the looks of it, obviously I don't understand why, but I did it last week. I updated it, but all good. I'll make sure to do it a couple times a week now. Manvic comes down, no top wick forming, a bottom wick I am getting in. Yep, so you're looking pretty good right now, my friend. God. You gotta love it sometimes, don't you guys? Yeah, so the gold buys for 15, you'd be well in profit now. But again, it's just, I'm not jumping in because it wasn't the rule I created. So I'm just patiently waiting. And the next option would be the bullish engulfing. If it does break, it's likely gonna probably head up, make the move. But what I'd like to see now is this 15-minute candle close a strong bullish candle without making a whole move. So something like so would be great. And then for the following 15-minute candle, and close a weak bearish candle. Still going to close the 30 bullish engulfing at that point. And on this next M30 candle, as price begins to break above the minor resistance formed just here at the high of catalyst M30 bullish engulfing, rates a slower wick. Needs to break above. That's where I could potentially look for an entry. So it's me just planning ahead as data prints and making it as simple and emotionless as possible. Completely taking out the emotion from the trading, from the entry. You're one step away, my friend. You're one step away from being kicked. Get the benefit of the doubt for now, but keep barking up like that and keep saying stupid comments like that. It's a group for all traders. That's what it is, for all levels. It doesn't matter. There is no one is a professional trader. Everyone is there to help one another, to improve, to learn, be part of a community that's all after the same thing. It has to be just confident, consistent traders. And I don't care what level you're at. I don't care if you're day one. I will help you out. You'll get help within that group. So it's for people who want to learn. That's what it's for. People that genuinely want to learn. Oh, forgot to close. Yeah, probably best to do so. Carl, Discord, when you create the link, click the edit invite link. Change it. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for the heads up. I will make sure to do so. Appreciate that. Yep, I just see that now. All right, so I'll actually generate a new link and I'll copy it now into the description. So thank you for that advice. I appreciate it. Yeah, so that's done. Cheers, my friend. Appreciate it. Man, Vic, if 1 hour re-breaks it slow, you're gonna close and do fresh entries on bottom wick. Alright. Yeah, I think if it does re-break, it'd be a pretty good level to close at because it got the 15 higher low, higher high. So if it was to continue bullish, it really has no need to pull back and break its own low. And if that's the case, then we might be respecting the 30-minute, previous 30-minute counts high. We could still come back down a little bit further. What can I tell someone who wants to start Forex today? Favor. Learn about risk management, learn about how to calculate lot sizes, because that's a mistake I made when I first started trading. I had no idea about how to calculate a lot size. Went full margin first trade, had no idea what I was doing. Just learn the terminology, learn. A lot of people jump in not even knowing what a pip means and things like that. Like, just learn about what, you know, the pair you're trading, obviously. Learn about session times, volume, times of volume, that type of thing. Go to Gbpjpy. That's where I definitely direct them. And also, if you find that it's something you want to learn about in more detail, join a group. Join a master group. That's how I leveled up. I've been involved with 2 different training groups. And I paid a heap for education. So whether it be my group or someone else's group, that's up to the person. All breaking now. So we'll see. Carlo, not a problem listening to some lessons learned from you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. DJ coming down. So nothing yet, but good to see it's now approaching that support where we can start to plan and buy options. Man, I think it might push down more after bottom wick. It will be risky. But you gotta love this trend. Yeah, well, it is still looking like it wants to continue up, create a higher high potentially. So I'm just personally going to wait for the closure of this candle, this 30-minute, and be involved. Man, it's similar to me, to be honest. All right, Favor, what do you got for me now? What can you tell someone who was trading for 3 years? For 3 years? I don't know, how long's a 3 year? Using support and resistance and technical analysis and was following plans. Maybe they weren't following the right plans. Maybe they don't have the right rule set. Maybe it's not for them. Maybe they had issues with FOMO. I mean, everyone has their own way in trading. Everyone's had their own experiences. They're obviously not doing something right if they're not profitable in 3 years, doing the exact same thing over and over again. So maybe they best move on, and that points to something, to a different, either something else, give another strategy a go for a certain period of time. Still trying to figure out though, how long's it for a year? Leo, last week, a little bit indifferent. What was it? I think it was it 2 or I definitely took 2 losses. I think it was 3 wins, 2 losses. But I found a lot of time I was taking small entries because, not so much because of the news, but just because entries are, well, there was a bit of volume obviously, but entries were probably not perfect, but had enough confluences to take an entry. But all in all, I ended up in a profit, so I'm not gonna I'm not going to complain about that, but it's been a really good, I mean, since I started the stream, it's been a really good few months. Prior to last week, I'm not taking a loss on stream for about 3 or so weeks. I was trading sometimes twice a day, not every day. Obviously, usually at least once a week I don't get a trade because the charts just don't present, but I've been trading quite often and the results were really good. Gold rejecting, that's all good, just need to wait. DJ coming down. How about yourself, man? Man, Vic, it's 2500. I reckon it will eventually get there for sure. I have no doubt it will. I think gold fundamentally as well, just what's going on around the world and that, I think gold is just going to continue. I've heard some analysts and geopolitical experts and all that suggest that it's, with all that's going on, when you combine all the crap that's going on everywhere, gold is just gonna go all the way up. Like some are saying it will end up at 5k probably at some point in the next year or two. You into trade and act. I think you mean react, unless that's a take on A.C.T. Forex, which is all good, my friend. RN. Gen Z, yeah. A little bit too old for that. No, I'm not into nothing right now. I'm just waiting for this 30 minutes to close. Like I mentioned before, I really want this 15 minutes to close strong bullish up near its high, followed by a weak bearish 15 minute on the second M15 of the new 30. And I could potentially look to buy it on the next M30 as it breaks the high of this candle. In the meantime, guys, I'm going to take tonight's dinner out of the fridge. I'm going to do one or two things. I'll be back in a couple minutes. Don't go nowhere. Still could get a trade shortly, guys. Alrighty guys, I am back and gold is still struggling. So pulling back. So the previous candle closed on the 15. Relatively strong bullish candle. A decent wick to the upside. But right now, current candle is forming bearish. So could this be potentially lower high in the 50-minute time frame? Doesn't mean I'm selling it on the next candle. I'm still not convinced about any sells just yet. That is just me. So I'm still going to wait at this stage for for gold, sorry. Just maybe it'll come back down to that support where I can buy it potentially from a little bit lower down. Now GJ is approaching the current daily candles low. So it is at a level I'd look to buy it from. I'm not necessarily going to sell it at that point because I need some structure to form. I need a catalyst. I need at least a 4-hour closing back strong bearish like the current one. Correlate with a 30-minute flipping bearish, which it could do if it closes below this swing point. And if that was to be the case, then potentially the next 4-hour candle is when I probably start trusting the sells in against what is a very strong uptrend at the moment. Maybe stop loss the hourly low. So GJ is melting. Yep. Have you secured any profit though? Leo, to be honest, I was looking for buys above the daily open too. Oh, okay, yep. Daily open, so on a pullback to the open, you mean? Which was just here. Or just in general, you mean buys above a level of support formed within a current daily candle on GJ. Yep, that's exactly what I've been looking for. But look at this. This is just absolutely shitting the bed right now. And again, no FOMO. For me, there's no entry in this move. So no FOMO whatsoever. But what this does do is open up potential sells moving forward. So that's fine. Absolutely fine. Or I'd be looking to see where we could potentially now pull back to form another support. I've got this level here marked in. And to me, that's still a good level to look for the pullback within the new weekly. Form a support above it to buy that. Potentially, if we were to continue bullish, like the previous weekly candle, could be potentially the lowest point of the current weekly candle. So really anywhere above this level at 197.10 roughly, if price remains above that level, and we could just still form a support and head back up. Favor, I'm not in a trade right now. If I was, I'll tell you why. I'm looking at gold buys potentially on the next candle. That's what I'm looking at just now. So I want this candle to close engulfing to the previous 30. We're not going to get that 15-minute pause on the 15th, so we're not going to get that candle closing back bearish, because if that's to be the case, the M30 is going to close probably not the strongest, leaving quite a decent wick to the upside. I'd rather it actually just close bullish engulfing and trade it based off that catalyst itself. The 30-minute catalyst bullish engulfing after tapping into support. At that point there, we're likely going to retest these highs. And there's definitely enough margin. Stop loss will probably be 15-minute. Yeah, so it's quite a wide one, but that's what I'm waiting for. Man Vic, yep, just GJ tanking, yep. Also seen that. So you're holding in anticipation it's going to retest the highs, I'm assuming? Yeah, it can flip. Yeah, it can definitely still come down. But again, as long as it respects levels of support formed on the move to the upside within the current daily candle, it doesn't necessarily need to pull back to create a lower wick. But yes, it definitely could still do so. Frank, you called it GJ dump, had a sell stop 197, 716. 716 below somewhere here. Okay. Once again, that's if that was within your analysis and you reacted to it, well done by all means. But once again, for me, I require greater confirmation to look for an entry right now, and especially to the downside. And it just so happens to be making a move. That's fine. Man, Vic, yep. Okay, yeah, so you're looking to retest eyes. So the focus right now is gold. Yeah, so for me, GJ, it's literally come from consolidation. It's come from above support. It's in a real solid uptrend. So that there was no catalyst whatsoever to be involved in this sell. Doesn't mean like I said, for you guys, there wasn't an entry. But for the way I trade, no entry whatsoever. Man, Vic, you're out. Oh, it's flipped, has it? Okay, yep. Yeah, that's fair enough. I wouldn't want to be involved anymore as well if I was in a trade at that point. So the way this is flipping is a high probability we're going to come back down to retest this support, but once again, it could bounce off this support. There is absolutely no margin. It's not at a level I'd want to be selling it from. So I just simply have to wait for price to pull back and see how I react to 24.33. Very simple. 0.24. That's all right. At least he managed it well. So Franco, also no entry for you on G. So G is also, yep, I agree. No, I agree. And Franco, you don't get FOMO at all anymore. I'm sure. Well, no, not like before. You just understand that this isn't your move. And you're fine with that. You're fine with not chasing. Getting to the point where, honestly, you're basically the same as I am now. Where you just don't worry. But you like this because it opens up potential moves moving forward. G doesn't look bad. See, right now, GJ, what I've been looking for is we've had a pause, but we don't. We had a pause in somewhere even below this resistance on the 15. Then I'll look for a limit order sell, but we got no pause. It's just a straight move down. So I don't have anywhere for me that ticks the box to place a sell limit, because what it could do is tapping into this level here, which was a level I had marked in, because to the left it lines up with another level over here. So seeing it's tapped into that level, it could begin to form a support really anywhere now from this whole, within this whole area. So remember what I said last week, and if you've watched a recap video of trade about the trade management, this candle has essentially hit TP. It's tapped into the move. So if I was to sell it now, I'm selling it after the fact, after the candle's already tapped into the area that I would have targeted. So it could just bounce off it like this. Great high low, high high, end up flipping back, you know, micro trend back bullish, end up trending back bullish. Last thing I want to do is be caught out in a limit order where it does so. It just creates that, tags you in, creates a high low, high high, high low, and then you stopped out. And that's what happened last week. So I definitely learned from that lesson. 15 had a little more margin to tap in, but the 30-minute actually made the move. It already tapped into the support, so it bounced off that level, and that's what we could do now. So that's why I won't be looking for sell limit orders in this case, because there is no margin. This candle in itself has created the move I would have wanted to get involved in. So now just need to patiently wait for price to once again form a support. Well, I'm not going to do that. Form a support somewhere now around these lows. I would prefer to see it pop down 137,350, but it doesn't necessarily have to do so. Gold is closed back bearish. Nothing yet again for me on gold as well, so just patiently sit and wait. Favor? Is it possible to trade out losing? Well, it is possible to trade out losing, but at some point you're going to take a loss. It's just part of trade. Yeah, you're always going to get some sort of loss at some point. All you got to do is have an edge on, well, in the market, something that works for you, something that's tried and tested, and trade that edge, trade it confidently, trade it, you know, in accordance to the rules and the plan. Don't jump into anything in between that doesn't, you know, tick the boxes. And then what that's going to give you is a high probable outcome, and that's it. It might mean you win 7 times, 8 times out of 10. Sometimes it'll be 6 times out of 10. Sometimes 5 times out of 10. But generally speaking, over a long period of time, we work out it's about 7 to 8 times out of 10, and that's a good plan. It's a good strategy. It's a good edge, whatever you like to call it. Trade it. But you're always going to have a loss at some point. Franco, yeah, you could do that. Then you don't actually lose any capital. Yeah, so GU is similar. It hasn't actually flipped any structure yet. It's created a lower low, granted, at that 4-hour resistance. But again, the greater confirmation, the high probability setup right now is waiting for a 4-hour to close. And if it closes below these bullish candles, so the support on the M30, that is a really strong closure. And then I trust the sells more moving into the next 4-hour candle. But right now, it still could be creating a higher low within the uptrend, or just grabbing more liquidity from below the current daily candle's low to support that support. And if we pop back up, we're likely going to eventually retest the current daily candle's high. If we begin to break, I feel at that point there, it's even greater probability to move, it's going to make the move into that clean area of traffic to the left. Favor? You mean like a year? Well, how about what's the movie, The Big Short, or no, not the movie? I'm thinking of Bitcoin. The guy who sold Bitcoin after its first bull run was in a leverage sell from literally the top up until about, I think he finally closed the position about 6k or something. I mean, some swing traders hold trades for months. So I suppose yeah, it's possible, but I don't know because I scalp. I'm in and out usually in minutes, win, lose or draw most of the time. The Discord sometimes it doesn't stop, and then there's times where there's not much activity going on. So I think people are still sort of trying to, you know, get a feel of the process. But do get involved, guys. Do engage. Do chat. Do ask questions. Do send in charts. Like I said, I am keeping an eye of who is, you know, more involved in the actual Discord, because there will be a special something for them moving forward. So I do keep an eye on it. So do get involved. Here he is, Mr. Benny C. Here he is, the main man. Good morning to you, my brother. I hope you're well. Hope you had a good weekend. So GJ now bouncing. As I said, didn't I say it before? I'm not going to look for a limit order sell, because this candle has made the move into a level that I previously had marked in as a potential level price could pull back to form a full bounce off. But this has hit the target, so I'm not getting involved in any sells. Like I mentioned before, you could really just drag. This could be your zone, and it's literally tapped in. Favor, like the fact that you have ideas. So does robots profitable? What are robots profitable? Don't know, some are. Not sure if all of them are. The market is run primarily by algorithms and obviously the banks. Ben, yep, likewise, looking forward to it. Not as much news about, but there definitely is some news about, so got to have a look. But we've got, so remember Weller is speaking later, so that could shake things up a little bit. It's not listed as red folder here, but it could definitely get things moving. And speaking again the following day on Tuesday. Aside from that, well, we've got the president of the EU, ECB, sorry, ECB speaking, Lagarde. So she'll be speaking tomorrow as well. So that could shake things up on the Euro pairs. Might give the pound a little bit of a kick. And then obviously late Tuesday evening for those of you in the UK. Early morning for those of us over here in Oz and New Zealand and Asian countries. We've got the governor badly speaking, so that will also shake things up. And then CPI, so that'll be a big one. I will be on stream for it, which is good. Let's keep an eye out for a new thumbnail for that. I'll have to come up with something, or might just use the old one. And then followed by monetary policy report hearings, so that also could shake things up. And obviously the big one on Wednesday evening, those of you in the UK, Wednesday afternoon, I think that is for those in the US, and 4 a.m. here in Oz, FOMC. So it's going to be a big one. Whatever the rhetoric from that is, will have a massive effect on the majors and gold. High impact EU news to follow on the Thursday, and pound news as well, or PMI, and obviously unemployment claims for the US dollar and PMI as well on Thursday. So a bit going on as always, but not as much as last week. Retail sales for the pound will also be quite significant, and then as consumer sentiment for the USD on Friday. So that's the news for this week. So for the first few days, it's not much. Wow, look at this. So again, lesson learned from last week, guys. Look at this. Look what it's doing now. That is why I'm not interested in a limit order sell in this case, because we've tapped into the target. Now we could bounce off it, and that's exactly what we're doing. Last week I tried to take a very similar catalyst, try to take a sell limit against the structure, against the trend. Only to get wrecked. So you learn. Just wait patiently. Favor USD CAD. Daily and weekly. All right, I'll have a look at it. I did analyze it earlier. So the daily and weekly. All right, so the weekly, to me, that previous weekly candle closed a strong bearish candle. Right at low of that support. A lot of gaps in this particular, on this chart, this broker XCM. So it is rejecting, but it's at a strong level of support, previous resistance as well. So not difficult level to be selling it. So I'd rather to get involved if I was to sell it, either A, upon a pullback within a previous weekly candle. I've identified this level as the 50%, which lines up with the 4-hour resistance. So what that suggests to me is if we pull back to that level, I want to see the sellers step in, defend that level, defend the 50% of that previous strong bearish candle, respect the 4-hour resistance, and then what we likely going to do is head back down to the lows of support, potentially come back down to retest the previous weekly candle's low. At that point there, I feel if we begin to break it, we're starting to pop below the resistance here to the left, and we are likely going to make a deeper pullback, potentially down towards 135, 350 to 40. As far as the daily as well, you can see is approaching the support to the left. Below the current support though, we have a little bit of margin, probably about 20 pips or so. So on continuation would be options, but we're above the support. So I'd rather see, as I mentioned before, when I went to the 30, when I did the analysis previously, closures below or sells below the low. As for the buys, I don't see much right now on the daily. Like I mentioned before, other than the fact it's at a previous resistance, so it could bounce off it, but you need the confirmation, and it's just consolidating at that level. So if it closes above the 4-hour on the daily, then I feel we're going to make a deeper pullback. Structure wise, it is still bullish as well. Like I mentioned before, I'd be trading off the 4-hour, and if this candle closed bullish engulfing, this is probably the entry I'd be looking at. Stop loss below the most recent support. It targets the 4-hour resistance. Simple. It's a slower moving currency pair, so that's what I'd be looking at. Potentially, you could enter a little bit lower down on the flip. If the new candle creates a lower wick, significant lower wick, and then begins to flip, that could be another option. That's how I'd be trading it. All right, so gold, right now we've got a resistance within the move back down to the support we've tapped in, so it formed a resistance on the pullback. So what I want to see now is price close above 24.42.51. I want 30, well, the 15 is about to close, so that will mean we require the next 15 to close above, which will mean the 30-minute closes above, which will mean we've almost got a golden candle, which will mean the open of the new hourly. I could potentially look for a buy. The hourly is going to close at that point there with a long wick to the downside, closing up near its high. Grabbing liquidity from this support to the left. That is the last option I could potentially have moving forward. You see how I create the plan now, guys. You see the rules I created. Very simple. There is no emotion at all attached to it. That's what I want to see happen. Very simple. In the next 14.5 minutes, price has to close above 24.42.51, and we might have an option. If not, probably going to be it for today on stream anyway. Favor, how do I know how and when and which candlesticks to draw those support and resistance? Well, generally I start the 4 hour. At least you're asking better questions now. And as for resistance, I want confirmation of a candle closing bearish, so I don't have that yet. I don't have previous data to the left to go off as well. So what I would normally have is certain levels to the left. So for instance, we've broken out here. Prior to that, I would have had that marked in. So from the open of the bearish candle to the high of it, bearish candles are the ones that confirm resistance. I could have that marked in. You could have it marked in at the high of the bullish candle, high of that swing point. So from the body and to the high, I consider that strong zone because it's a 4 hour. Then I can go down to the 30 and potentially adjust it, or you can just leave it in the 4 hour, leave it a deeper zone. So I've identified that as a level. I can move forward to the upside. We've got resistance for me here, got support for me here, so I can connect from the open of the bullish candle to the low of it. Remember, the bullish candles confirm support, not the bearish candle. So the wick has actually popped down below the low of the bullish candle, but again, that's a bearish candle, so the bullish candle is what can confirm support, so that's where I'll throw in the support. Here it's a bit tricky. Got the open with no lower wick. Drag it to the lowest point of that wick to the left hand side. Again, from open of down that form support to the lowest point, the wick. You could even have it further up, but I just draw in the most relevant levels, the most recent, because otherwise it clutters up your chart. Once again, from the body, from the open to the lowest point of support, of that level of support. You got a bearish candle right there forming resistance. So in the uptrend, you're more focused on most recent supports. Yes, resistance at levels that price could pull back to as levels to form support potentially. But if price breaks the support, as long as you got some clean traffic below it and close below it, you could have potential sell options. So obviously right here, from the move up, we've pulled back, we've closed a bearish candle, so that confirms some resistance, followed by a candle which closed bullish, confirms support. So I draw it in from the body of that candle to the lowest point, and that is the whole zone. The resistance I've marked in just now is based off the 15-minute. I usually don't draw resistance on the M15, but I just want the visual for my catalyst to potentially buy it on the next hourly on gold. So once again, from the open to the highest point of the bearish candle. And when I'm looking to draw in support, from the open to the lowest point of any bullish candle at that level. Doesn't always have to be the same candle. The body of the same candle, it could be a different low. You might have, for instance, this candle here, wicking down a little bit below, and then you'd have to include or incorporate that as the lowest point. that was to be the case. We've got 10 minutes to wait on gold, guys. That's all I'm doing right now. Simple. Alrighty. DJ rejecting again. That's all good. All well and good. Not interested in GJ just now. Wow, it looks like it could close a pretty strong bearish candle. So once again, I feel the sellers are going to open up more if this candle does close a strong bearish candle. Otherwise, what would I want to see to buy it? Well, the issue is if we start closing back above this support of 197,650 roughly, you're going to be buying it straight into consolidation yet again. So when I see this sort of data within, you know, within a range, I prefer it to actually make some clean moves to cut through it, to open it up again, and then trade the range. Yes, it's, you know, it means you're going to have to wait, I understand. And for a lot of you, the FOMO, the boredom might get the better of you. But for me, it's not an issue at all. Because I'm okay not to trade if it doesn't tick the box. I'm completely fine with it. Because I'd rather wait for a quality entry. I mean, right now, it's not a bad catalyst if this candle closes as is. So what you've got is, I'd want it to close above the support. So you got bullish engulfing M15, followed by a weak bearish pause, creating that resistance at support. So then if the new candle opens up and just creates a slow wick and begins to break, it's likely going to head up to this resistance. The issue is there is going to be very little margin to tap into that level. You'll be lucky to get about 10 pips out of it. You're really lucky. But again, if this was clean, that would be a perfect catalyst. So we'll see. Gold still, it's tapped in. Let's see if it's going to close above it. Anyone watch the basketball here, the NBA? Oh, those Pacers, Indiana. Wow. Yeah, so that looks a pretty good entry. However, it's just the margin. You really are lacking margin until this consolidation where it could reject. And we've created a lower low and it could just pull up, reject, create another lower high. So to me, I would be patiently waiting. If it was clean to the left, I'd be looking to get involved 100%. It's up to you guys if you want to take a risk on that one, but I'm going to wait personally. Yeah, and it's only Monday. There's plenty of time to get involved in trades. Mael, can we take sell and GJ? If you'd like, you can take sell and GJ, but I think it's way it's bouncing off this previous support that it could come up. Once again, didn't I say it, guys? Reason why I wasn't interested in limit order is because we've made the move. This is hit TP, this candle, that's the catalyst candle. Had it closed just below, maybe 5 pips below, then I would have maybe considered a sell limit. Because we had scope to come down further to tap into to target over here to the left, but we're bouncing straight off it. Wow, look at that. So just under 4 minutes, guys, to wait on gold. You watch, if I promote a funded giveaway and really pump it, you watch all the viewers rush to the stream. It will happen. I'm sure it would happen. Speaking of, if anyone has any recommendations, please let me know. Let me know in the Discord, because I will probably give away a funded account. Maybe this week, maybe. I'll see. Definitely moving forward. Excuse me. All right, Goldski. What is it going to do? Is it going to close above or below? Find out in just over 2 minutes. Don't go nowhere, guys. Rain with your battle hats on. You still could get the chance. Trying to pop up now, so we'll see. I better get my terminal ready just in case. And I feel with the volume that's within these candles, it's probably best to have a wider stop loss, smaller entry, wider target. But again, it's entirely up to you whether you want to secure trades at normal TP1. No, it depends what your normal TP1 is too. Or if you want to hold. But there is a lot of volume in these candles, so let's see. Just over a minute left and we are approaching that level now. Are we going to close above it? And once again, there is a reason why I want to close above that level, because it's closing above 15-minute resistance. We've created arguably a higher low, and you could argue a higher high as well. So I'm seeing now a potential series of high lows, high highs from this level on the 15. That's what will give me the confidence to look for the buy. But 35 seconds remaining, has to close above. Vampire, good afternoon to you, my friend. All right, 20 seconds. We're trying. We are officially trying. This is going to be touch and go, guys. Wow, come on. Looks like we're going to close. Oh my god. We've closed just below it. All right, so what I want to see now has to pop back down, create a significant lower wick. I want it to minimum tap into low that blue zone, minimum. And if it does that, then I'm going to look to buy it to break zone high again. And if it takes off a little bit too much now, I'm not going to bother with it. That's the new hourly. It hasn't closed right at its high. I would not be comfortable in buying it just off the rip without lower wick. Not comfortable whatsoever. So if it pulls back and taps into roughly low of that zone, I'm going to set a buy stop just above the high. And there is easy ways to manage this trade. You could almost just have your stop loss below the entry candle's low, because seeing it has a higher low, higher high, it's gone now. But what I was going to say is it would have no need to pull back and break its own low, so your stop loss should be right there, but forget it, it's gone. That's fine. All good. Not comfortable to say that, so again, the analysis is so far it's correct, but what can you do? Just is what it is. Have the rules, stick to them. Trust me, they'll save you a lot of the time. Oh, there we go. Now it's dropped. Bit of volume. Dropping a little bit further than what I would anticipate. Wow, there's a lot of volume in gold right now. This candle in the 2 minutes it's been open has already moved around 30, 20, close to 30 pips. Well, it's probably moved, it's moved more because it's moved up, down. GJ, nothing. All right, so if it breaks zone high again, it's gonna be breaking above the 30-minute resistance. Well, it's not technically resistance on 30, but it's going to be breaking above that wick. It's going to be breaking above the 5-minute resistance. Got some clean traffic to the left. Tapped into the support, create a higher lows, high highs. I'm just going to stick around a few minutes. If it pulls back too far, I'm not going to bother. But right now, I'm just going to wait and see if it begins to flip. Still could get a buy above the high. Yeah, it's closing. Well, it's not, sorry, not closing, but pulling back. Probably too far now. Yeah, that's fine. I still think if it flips, it's likely going to hit back up to the current day's high. It's just pulling back a little bit too far. So I'm going to call it for the time being, guys. So what I've been waiting for now is wait to see how this 15-minute closes. If it closes strong bearish, then it's very simple. What I've been waiting for in the following candle is simply a bullish engulf candle back above the resistance, and that would give me the trust that we're ready to continue bullish again. So at least above the resistance, it may not engulf this bearish candle, but if it closes above the blue zone, an actual strong close above, then I trust that enough and look for the buy on the following M30. Otherwise, let it come back down to this support and see if that is to be the case, how we react to it, to look for further potential buy options. And if we do start to pop below 24, 28, that is when I consider my sells moving forward, because at that point there, you're likely to have 4 hour closing strong bearish, lower low, lower high as well, counter probabilities on the 4 hour to the downside. But don't force any sells, guys. Any sell right now is very counter trend, so you're probably best to wait for a strong daily closure to the downside to trust the sells more, and further buys above the high as well. GJ, there is no margin to retest the resistance formed prior to this move down. I just simply want it to create a clean move to either reject the resistance to potentially sell it, come back down once again, potentially buy it, and then you're playing within cleaner candles formed on the move to the upside and downside. Aside from that, if it does reject yet again, see right now, if we do pull back to, let's just say, this level here, and seeing we've made it create a clean move, cut through this support, clean move down, clean move up, you can now just remove it really. And if it does reject that 197.850, so wait for this 4 hour to close, we're going to close bearish, new candle. So if I would prefer it to close relatively strong bearish, and then on the new candle maybe we create that upper wick rejecting that zone, potentially head back down, confirm that lower higher than the daily candle, and then you could potentially look for yourselves from that resistance. Otherwise, buy it from lower down. That's it, guys. But I think it's a wrap. Frank, yeah, not for me right now. Pull back too far, but that's all good. So yeah, not a bad stream, guys. I think we learnt a valuable lesson about, especially GJ's settlement. How I mentioned this candle was the catalyst, but this candle's also made the move within it, so there was no limit order option within the following candle. Suppose we went over quite a few things, so not a bad stream at all. But nothing that's hit the box, so we'll move on to tomorrow, see what we've got moving forward. For those of you in the Discord, do keep an eye out for some NY, pre-NY analysis. Otherwise, anyone else, if you've not joined, the link is down below in the descriptions for free, so do join. Tomorrow I'll be on from around 7:30 AM UK time. In the meantime, guys, do trade safe, take care. If you want to chat, want to send me a message, or want to ask questions, or get involved in Discord, yeah, and I look forward to chatting to you. Until then, guys, take care, trade safe, bye for now.